Did you know that butterflies are free?
Well, they're actually, endangered. They need a lot of help.
Okay, so they're reasonably priced.
Exactly.
And they need some help.
Exactly. They do. And today we're going to see how to help the butterflies with, planting an extra sacrificial pot so they have a little extra food. When you find them, you can save them. And then even better, we're going to go to Gary Slack's garden where he has beautiful butterfly plants.
Which we're in the middle of right now, and you can
Exactly.
see there's some fantastic plants that butterflies adore.
And his habitat. The habitat is so unique and so wonderful. And that's a small version of one we're going to visit at the Chicago Botanic Garden.
Where they have butterflies from all over the world in this exhibit they just set up this year. Kids love it and adults love it too. And then we're going to go to 3 homes that have all gotten together to create one huge garden. It's called the Urban Prairie Project. You're really going to enjoy that. Randy Otti is the brains behind that. And then over to Whole Foods Market Demonstration Kitchen where we're going to get a great summer salad. That's all today on Dig in Chicago.
Join us on Dig In.
Everybody likes butterflies, but Gary Slack is a man who really likes butterflies. He's taken it to a whole new level. Gary, your yard is fantastic, and you've planted a lot of these plants with butterflies in mind, haven't you?
Often with probably the top of the list.
Like Buddleia, or butterfly bush, we have there. Achillea, or yarrow, is down here. There's some coneflower here.
Monarda, bee balm, salvia.
Nepeta. These are all plants that butterflies love, and Gary has put them in his front yard here so that the butterflies will be attracted. And does it work?
It works extremely well. We have butterflies here all summer, mostly monarchs, but lots of swallowtails, and probably others. I'm just not here all the time to see them all.
Is there something else you need to do to keep the butterflies happy aside from having the nectar for them?
Well, absolutely. The nectar plants, the flowering plants are there for the adult butterflies, but to encourage them to stay longer, you need to provide lots of milkweed in your yard, different varieties. But monarchs, for example, will only lay eggs on milkweed, and the caterpillars, when they hatch, will only eat milkweed leaves. So it's very symbiotic, and if you're going to raise and try to encourage butterflies in your backyard, especially monarchs, you need lots of milkweed.
Any of you can grow the plants that Gary has in his front yard here, and they will attract butterflies, but Gary has taken it to a whole new level. We're going to walk over here and see a real butterfly, actually a monarch habitat. Here we have it, Gary's very own monarch habitat. Actually, it's a butterfly habitat because you're telling me that swallowtails can be raised in here too.
Absolutely, as long as you have the right food plant for the caterpillars, and that's plants in the dill and parsley family. For the monarchs, it's got to be milkweed, all milkweed all the time.
All right, if I want to go in there, what do I have to worry about?
Let me take care of the door for you.
Okay. Oh, stay there. Don't go out. Here we are. So you've got in here the flowers that they like for nectar, but you also have the plants that they will eat as they mature from eggs to caterpillars.
That's right. The butterfly enclosures is much for their protection as it is for enjoyment, because when they start to lay eggs on the milkweed, being in the enclosure, the eggs are protected. They're much more likely to hatch and turn into caterpillars, and the caterpillars need the same protection so that eventually, as they grow in size, because all they are is munching machines, they'll go to the top, create chrysalises, and nature goes over and over in cycles.
Now you have this up all summer, but that's not the same butterflies in here all summer.
I sort of prime the pump with some butterflies, caterpillars, and eggs early in the season, but there'll probably be 4 or 5 generations that will hatch, turn into caterpillars.
And then the last generation is very special.
The last generation lives much longer than any other generation. The last generation does not mate. It stores its energy to make the flight to Mexico in one generation.
Then you start over again next year.
Start over again. Unfortunately, it's not something with monarchs you can do year-round. Literally, they migrate to Mexico around mid-September, and then you can start to repopulate your butterfly enclosure around May. They do not survive our winters.
Well, from a very small enclosure to a much larger one, let's go to the Chicago Botanic Garden and see butterflies and blooms. We're here at and in Butterflies in Blooms at the Chicago Botanic Garden, and this is Harriet Resnick. And Harriet, exactly what do you do here?
I am the Vice President of Visitor Experience.
What kind of room is this? You've got mesh on the outside, the sun comes in?
It is really a tent. If it rains, we're going to get wet. It's a mesh. There's a layer of zoo mesh, and then on top of it is sort of a polyurethane mesh that helps diffuse the sunlight. It also gives it the pretty white color that we like on the outside.
And of course you have butterflies here.
And we have butterflies here.
From all over the world.
From all over the world. Mostly right now we've got them from Asia and South America. They grow them really pretty there.
We got some pretty good ones here in North
We do,
America
and we
too.
do have some native Illinois ones. Painted lanies and monarchs are still
And
here.
how many different varieties do you have in here?
Right now we have about 35 different species, and there's probably about 500 butterflies flying around right now.
And how do you feed them?
On the plates you'll see there's rotten oranges, rotten bananas, watermelon, and they love blue Gatorade.
How long is this going to be here?
It's going to be here through Labor Day, September 3rd. It's open every day, 10 to 5. We really want this to be an experience for everybody. And you can come here. We've got a combo ticket. You can come here and go to our model railroad exhibit. It's for families. It's for young and old.
All right, so let's see now what plants you should be putting in your yard here in the Chicago area that are going to, and there goes one right now, attract a butterfly.
Thanks, Mike and Harriet, for that wonderful introduction to all these gorgeous butterflies. And I'm here to tell you which of the plants that you can put in your own garden to attract butterflies to your garden in your own home. And like this one right here, it's one of the bee balms. Excellent plant. The butterflies love these. This is Liatris. It's prairie blazing star. Monarchs actually love this. This is more or less a tropical plant, but every butterfly loves these because it's a cluster of miniature flowers that has nectar all through all of them. This is a lantana. And then this is verbena. Bright, bright colors. They come in whites, pinks, reds, and this is a magnificent purple one. And then coming up over here are the coneflowers. Coneflowers are classics in our prairie plants. Many of these also are food plants for the caterpillars. So in your own garden, if you have a mixture of nectar plants for the adults and food plants for the caterpillars, you can really help the life cycle of the butterflies. Coming up next, we're going to the Urban Prairie Project, where you'll see 3 families that have let their gardens all merge together and flow together with beautiful plants that are native to our prairies. Dig in Chicago is a local show, and we love our local garden centers. Plant Hill Nurseries in Bloomingdale and Carpentersville cater to the do-it-yourself gardener, from the novice to the professional. All staff members are experts and highly experienced in horticulture and design, and they love their customers as much as they love their plants. Plant Hill Nursery is located on Randall Road, just 3 miles north of I-90, and on Lake Street, US 20, just 3 miles west of I-355. Plant Hill is proud to be among the local garden centers that carry plants and products from the Midwest companies.
Your trees are an important investment. They add to your property value, they can reduce summer heat and block cold winter winds, and they're often considered part of the family. Trust the care of trees for the long-term health of your trees. Whether it's pruning, insect and disease control, or soil treatments, the care of trees has served Chicagoland for 60 years. Invite the certified arborists at the Care of Trees to take a look at your trees. See thecareoftrees.com/dig-in. The Care of Trees. Their business is people and their love for trees.
Dig in Chicago is a local show, and we love our local garden centers. At the Growing Place in Naperville and Aurora, it's all about the natural setting. Where else are you going to find more than 1,000 varieties of plants in jaw-dropping gardens? They grow most of their own perennials, annuals, herbs, vegetables, and mums. And the Growing Place focuses on being responsible, eco-friendly, and sustainable. The Growing Place is proud to carry natural garden natives from Midwest ground covers, assuring you that the native plants you bring home are truly local.
If you've got roses, you know that they're heavy feeders, and so you want to give them a boost several times during the year. In midsummer, it's a great time to give it an organic fertilizer. And in this case, it's really easy to apply because, for one thing, organics are gentle and they can sit there. And this one calls for a cup in a 3x3 or 10 square foot area. So basically, you know, think of a yardstick like this, and that's kind of what we have here in this rose. And then you just take it and kind of apply it around the base of the plant, and then you can water it in right away, but because it's an organic, it can just sit there until the rain, or you can apply it just before a rain and it'll wash it in, and your plant's going to appreciate that. A lot of you garden next to your neighbors, and you know how that works. You have your plot and they have theirs, and it's all straight lines, and don't cross my garden path here. And that's not the way it works here. I'm with Randy Oddie, and he and his neighbors have put together something called the Urban Prairie Project. And the problem is it's not exactly a prairie, is it?
Not anymore, no. We had to live with the environment and the mature shade trees. So
right, but you still worked together with your neighbors, and you put together gardens that kind of flow and overlap a little bit. How did that get started?
It started first by experimenting out here in the garden and working primarily with, attempting to work with natives and massing grasses and native prairie plants.
You've gone the route of whatever works in this environment, right?
Exactly, right. The idea then was to flow the patches of the prairie or the garden together from one neighbor to the next neighbor.
And it all ties together. In fact, you tell me that people who are on their way to the train station here view this as almost a park.
Exactly. We are in a straight line to the Metra, and several people have stopped and commented that they like the walk and they come this way and out of the way because it's like walking through a park.
So what are your favorite plants in the Urban Prairie Project?
I still like the basics. I really like the ornamental grasses, a wide variety. We use dwarf fountain grass a lot because it's a little bit sympathetic with blue stem, maiden grass, blue oat grass, and featherweed.
And I've seen monarda here, and you've got rudbeckia as well.
Rudbeckia, coneflowers. We were talking about blue stem.
Well, it's just a fabulous way to garden, and it's a way to get to know your neighbors too.
Exactly.
You have to like your neighbors to do this, don't you?
Yes, you do.
So,
and it also, you become better neighbors by doing it.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Randy Oddie, creating a new concept, making friends with your neighbors. What a wonderful idea. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mike.
And next, let's go back over to Jennifer's house. We've got some containers we planted a couple of weeks ago. We're going to see how they're doing and how they relate to butterflies. Dig In Chicago is a local show, and we love our local garden centers. Just 3 miles north of historic Long Grove, Hawthorne Gardens prides itself on being a real garden center that offers a unique selection of beautiful products for your home and garden. They're one of the area's best sources of water garden products, and they feature a wild bird department that is without peer. At Hawthorne, quality service and information is their everyday promise. Hawthorne Gardens is proud to carry natural garden natives from Midwest ground covers, assuring you that the native plants you bring home are truly local.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
You want to control insects on your trees and shrubs, your flowers, and your fruits and vegetables, but you want to do it organically. You need Bonide's Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, or as I sometimes say, Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. Arr. Now, it works on contact or feeding, and it controls caterpillars, spider mites, beetles, and borers. Comes in containers that are easy to use. Pick some up today. Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. Arr. At a certain point in the season, you're going to want to deadhead some of your perennials because, as you can see with these peonies, they're starting to go to seed. They've got the seed pods forming, and you want to divert the energy back into the plant, and you want it to look nice. It's really easy with, for instance, you take a peony, just kind of go down the stem to where it intersects with a leaf stem and just cut like there, and you kind of do it to taste. It's whatever you want this to look like. Now, we also have irises, and the trick with that is to just take them down also to where you've got the big strappy leaves coming up. You do it right here, boom, and then you're left with the foliage, which always looks good. That's one of the things I like about irises, is this very prominent strappy foliage. It just looks great in a garden.
I'm going to show you how to deadhead roses, and it's also pruning roses. The reason you want to do that is when the flowers finish, and this is a spent flower right here, you can see the petals have dropped off, and this has actually been pollinated because you can see that the fruit, or the hip, is actually starting to form. Now when that happens, hormones are produced that tell the plant that its job is finished. It doesn't have to look pretty anymore because it's already making seed. So we'll come in and follow this branch down to a node, and you'll cut this off right above a leaf that has 5 leaflets on it, and dispose of this. Now what's really important is flowering shrubs, and roses or flowering shrubs flower best on newly developed wood. By pruning off all of these spent flowers, it will produce new wood. It'll make the plant form new wood, and you'll have continuous blooms through the rest of the season and many more vigorous blooms just like the one that's down here. And that's Dig In Boot Camp. Well, we just finished deadheading in other parts of the garden, and I just wanted to show you that deadheading's probably a never-ending process when you love flowers. Yeah. And here's another example. When you have great geraniums, these are spent flowers, and this would be one that you would want to deadhead. So we would just cut that one right off, and then that clears it up so that the flowers, the plant can keep going and flowering. It doesn't have that hormone that says my job is done.
That's right. When it goes to seed, then
it produces that hormone, yeah.
And you might recognize these pots here, these containers from a couple of episodes ago when we did the flower container, and then we did the sacrificial container.
And this was the butterfly hummingbird container, because it attracts, the flowers attract, the adults, and then the fennel and the dill are food sources for the caterpillars. So so then the butterflies, when they're actually getting wonderful sips of nectar, they think, oh, this would be a good place to lay an egg. And
and they did.
And they did.
On these, but we have a story behind that.
We do. I witnessed a black swallowtail butterfly laying eggs on the dill. And I was so excited, I started taking photos. So I took photos of the eggs and sent them to Mike and sent them to the producers. And then 10 days later, they actually hatched. There were seven caterpillars on here. And they were so small you could hardly see them. And so every day I was coming out, taking another photo of them. And they finally were getting large enough, probably about as large as my fingernail, the length of my fingernail. You could actually see the markings, Mike.
And we were very excited because we said, okay, we're going to get the camera crew here, we're going to show the caterpillars on the dill, and then
eating the dill. I went to work, came back home, and they were gone. They were completely gone.
Somebody did them in.
They say birds will eat them off of the plants, and they're black, so they were very obvious, and so they were eaten away.
But I've done this before. I had an earth box with a bunch of dill in it a couple of years ago in the parking lot of the radio station, and I came out one day and my producer said, you got to see the dill, and it was covered in black swallowtail caterpillars. and they didn't get picked off by the birds, and they ate this dill down to the nub.
It's an excellent attractant for a lot of the beneficial insects that come and they'll lay eggs and they will take care of and get rid of any of the bad insects that can damage the plants.
So if you've got, for instance, vegetables, this is a great plant, a dill, to put in a vegetable garden in certain areas to attract the beneficials and protect some of your other vegetables.
Exactly, classic beneficial plant, you know, or companion planting. You want to plant the companion plants that will benefit the other plants in the garden.
So keep your butterflies happy. That's what we're trying to say. Coming up next, we're going to Whole Foods, and a different Jen Hulbert, is going to show us how to make a salad.
It doesn't matter which season it is. If you have mature trees in your yard, you just might want to have the Care of Trees phone number handy. With 24-hour emergency service, they are there always. Pruning trees is serious work, which is why you want an expert who can do the job safely. The Care of Trees has served Chicagoland for 60 years. Invite the certified arborists at the Care of Trees to look at your trees. See thecareoftrees.com/dig-in. The Care of Trees, their business is people and their love for trees.
Dig in Chicago is a local show, and we love our local garden centers. Chalet in Wilmette features an incredible selection of trees, shrubs, perennials, roses, herbs, and vegetables, plants you won't find anywhere else. They also carry unique containers in addition to complete lines of tools, soils, and fertilizers. Don't miss the glass house with lush green and blooming houseplants, or the award-winning Pet Essentials department. Chalet is located at Lake Avenue and Skokie Road, just off the Edens Expressway. Chalet is proud to carry premium mulches, organic compost, and more from Midwest Trading.
Dig in Chicago is a local show, and we love our local garden centers. Christy Weber Landscapes Farm and Garden Center caters to the urban gardener, whether you're in a high-rise or a bungalow. In addition to quality trees, shrubs, flowers, veggies, and a wide variety of heirloom seeds, they even carry materials and equipment to build your own beehives and chicken coops. Or stop in for one of their gardening classes. Christy Weber Landscapes Farm and Garden Center is proud to be one of the local garden centers that carry plants and products with a purpose from the Midwest companies.
Hi, I'm Jen Hulbert with Whole Foods Market here in Chicago. And today I'm going to show you an incredibly simple recipe that just about anyone can make and everyone will love. And you're going to use fresh herbs that you found in your own garden. It's going to be a basil pesto that I'm then going to put on these skewers here to make a miniature caprese salad. So let's get started. I am going to start with about a quarter cup of walnuts. And you could also use pine nuts if you like. I prefer walnuts. And I'm going to toast them. I'm going to put them over medium-high heat here. And I want to watch these and make sure that I don't burn them. I just really want to put enough heat on it so that we release those buttery, walnutty flavors. Next, the star of the show, my basil. Now, I've got a Vitamix here. You're going to want to invest in a good blender or food processor if you really want to get on the road to healthy eating. It's really worth the money. I am going to take basil, which you probably have in your garden. It's in just about any garden. But this basil is actually from this company called Farmed Here. They are a local vendor of ours at Whole Foods Market, and they do vertical farming indoors right here in Chicago. So that means that we can have fresh produce in Chicago all year long. Really great company. Now I'm going to take my basil, about 2 cups loosely packed, or 2 ounces if you're buying it in one of our stores. And I've just rinsed this and patted it dry. Remove the stems. Don't want those in there. All right. Now to that basil, I'm going to add some parsley. Now this is an Italian flat leaf parsley. If you've got curly parsley in your garden, like I do right now, by all means use that. This is about a quarter cup. And again, I've rinsed it and removed the stems. Next, my garlic. I am putting in 3 cloves of garlic. You can put more or less to taste. I think 3 cloves is absolutely perfect. Now, if we look at what we have in my blender right here, this is incredibly healthy. We've got the dark leafy greens in the parsley and the basil, They're full of vitamin K, which is a little known vitamin that's really good for blood clotting and your bones. And then I also have my garlic, which we all know is good for the ticker. Now I'm going to add some Parmesan. I'm actually going to add, this is our 365 grated Parmesan, and I'm going to add a 1/4 cup. Now, I would use a higher quality Parmesan, like our 365 artisanal Parmesan, versus what you get in the green canister. I mean, that's fine for tossing on your spaghetti, but we really want this Parmesan to play a role in this pesto and really add to the flavor profile. So we really want it to be able to hold its own against those fresh herbs. All right, now my walnuts. Let's turn the heat off. You can see I didn't burn them, I just heated them enough to release those flavors. I'm gonna pop those right in. And we are ready to blend. Have your olive oil ready. Again, like the Parmesan, you're going to want to use a higher quality olive oil. This is our 365 organic olive oil. This is only $8.99, so higher quality doesn't mean higher price all the time. And this is going to really add to the flavor profile of this pesto. Just going to start by adding this in, and then I'm going to blend. Take a look. Right, this is the perfect consistency, and it smells amazing. You can't smell this, but it smells like summer. And what I'm going to do is take this and drizzle it over these skewered mini tomatoes and mini mozzarella balls. So there you have it, a fresh basil pesto atop a mini caprese salad. You can find this recipe at WholeFoodsMarket.com or at mydiginchicago.com. Let's dig in.
Don't mind me, Jennifer. I'm just going to stay for a while. I think I'm going to go back into the butterfly habitat and commune with my fellow monarchs.
Wasn't it fun learning about this today?
This is great.
Incredible. And between, Gary Slack's habitat here for the butterflies, and then the butterflies in blooms
at the Chicago Botanic Garden. So if you can get there before Labor Day, you should. Bring the kids. They're really going to love that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Urban Prairie Project was fabulous, and seeing how you can cooperate with, I don't know about this cooperation thing with your neighbors, but it's great to see those gardens all put together.
And Randy Oddie was the brainchild of that one, so we need to thank him very much.
Yes,
very much.
And of course his neighbors. And of course we need to thank the great people at Whole Foods Market and their demonstration kitchen for that terrific salad.
Delicious salad, delicious salad.
So I'll see you later. I'm going back in here, but meanwhile, join us next week for Dig In Chicago. We're here at Butterflies, and I'm going to just do it again, sorry. And blooms.
They're burning, I gotta toss them.
Turn around, see if there's any on you.
Butterfly pat down, butterfly pat down. All right. Okay, oh, okay.
Put your head down.
Okay, done.
Are we cool?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right, we got to play. Wow, that one's close. And then we're going to go to O'Hare. Whoops, don't want to open the door. Can you close that? You okay?
Fine, yeah.
All right. We're out of here. Thank you.